Today is July 1st. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com. I am Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey as the two of us are back from the lake this weekend. And Rammer, before we talk about anything Cardinal related, just want to say again for those that missed Saturday's show, haven't had a chance to go back and watch Saturday's show, the experience out at Ballparks National, Lake of the Ozarks, the more I keep thinking about all of the things that you guys had out there for everybody. Just an outstanding experience for kids, parents, everybody involved. Win or lose, I think everybody walks away from there having a great baseball weekend out at Ballparks National.
Well, Joe, you're very kind. We were glad to have your club here, and you guys brought the whole club. You had every age group covered. It was really delightful, and I'm glad it was a good experience.
And you guys are just a couple weeks away from adding a few more ball fields to that, which
Yeah.
will allow even more teams to be out there each and every weekend. And when I say that you guys have everything covered, and I say looking back at it, the final thing I did before I said bye to you yesterday from the ballparks, I went and I got Hudson a shirt. And you go to these tournaments, most of them will just have a folding table at best set up somewhere underneath a kiosk, and they're having shirts, and they go, okay, oh, you're this size, there you go, there's a shirt. There you guys have the machine press there on site inside of a shed with multiple options. One of my school ball players who plays on one of the older Blue Jay teams almost got like an $80 shirt because he kept adding little logos and stuff onto it before Dad finally stepped in and said,
Whoa.
just get the T-shirt with the logo on, one logo on it, and we're done. We're good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad it worked out for him and his dad and his pocketbook. Yeah, and some of those things are done by vendors. We have a great partner out of Springfield, Missouri called Fine Designs, and they're the ones who come up with the logos that are event specific. And then we have our regular our T-shirt kiosk that has our logos and our things. There's the photography people. So, and then we've got the Baseballism people. That's a national company that has their shirts. So if you want a souvenir, you probably can find one.
Absolutely, yeah. It was you talked up the snow cones, the cheese curds. Those that was
really? I've never done them.
Oh, they were so good.
Good. I'll pass it on.
The cheese curds were excellent this weekend. We'll be back there at Ballparks National for sure. Might try to take the 15U team, talk them into playing out there next year when you have the big fields all set and ready to go next summer. Hey, That's here in St. Louis, Cardinals go 2-2 over the weekend against the Reds, but you add that to a series victory over the Braves and a series sweep against the Giants in the 3-game set, including Rickwood Field. Very successful homestand, a very successful extended homestand for the Cardinals back here in St. Louis to keep themselves right there in the mix among the leaders in the wild card race.
The month of June was good for the Cardinals. We still see similar trends, but the Cardinals are doing better with what they have to work with. So let's break it down, especially as they play better in this month. The starting pitching with occasional hiccups. Nobody's going to be perfect every time out, but their starters have been good more outings than not. Yeah, just about everybody in the rotation has had a really bad hiccup, more of a burp than a hiccup. The bullpen started to get a little worn out. They started shifting some personnel around, but a good bounce back late in the month. The bullpen is as advertised. Some of the young guys are doing a terrific job in the offense. The offense still remains the concern. That trend continues. And I think the key part of that trend is now we're getting comfortable with, we already were comfortable with Donovan, but Wynn and Burleson have established themselves as competent hitters. Contreras is back in the lineup, but the two guys that need to figure it out if your team is going to be good in October and that's Goldie and Arenado.
Let me ask you about another name. Outside of those two, is Nolan Gorman. Just about an hour ago on the lunch show that Claves and I were doing, he talked about the idea of sending Nolan Gorman back down to AAA to try
Mm-hmm.
to figure out his swing. Well over 100 strikeouts now on the year, about a 40% strikeout rate for him on the season. With Nootbaar close to coming back, and Jordan Walker also down there in AAA, you do have the option of putting one of those guys in the corner outfield and moving Brendan Donovan into second base if you do decide to put Nolan Gorman in AAA. Brandon Crawford also has shown some versatility. Maybe you sneak him in there at second base too.
I would be an advocate of that, not as a punishment, but to say, Gorman, we know you have a high upside, a good future ahead of you, and we want you to get your swing figured out. I would be an advocate of that. Donovan becomes your everyday second baseman. Nootbaar goes into left field, and Gorman's problems since June began sort of coincide with Ciani figuring it out. If that would happen, it's really Ciani taking Gorman's job, because as Nootbaar would slide back into the lineup, everybody is raving about Ciani's defense, and he started to become holding his own as a hitter. He doesn't walk enough. For a guy with his speed, if he would learn to walk more, he could become a real weapon. But hitting him ninth and playing a tremendous center field is a really good spot.
Yeah, and again, you know that there are guys within the organization who could help you out more offensively than he's doing right now in that 9 spot, but we've seen the highlight catches every other night, it seems like, at this point, that he's making out there in center, and his speed won the game for them on Friday with the base running too. So when he does get on base, he is a factor in that aspect too. So kind of I think right now, the way you can look at the season, if you break it down, you're always breaking down the 162 game season into little bits here and there, and you're trying to just kind of get past certain points and hope that you're at a certain point here and there. Right now, you have 13 days until the All-Star break. 13 days right now until the All-Star break. You have 7 games coming up against the Pirates and Nationals. You don't have to face Paul Skeens. You do have to face some other good pitchers on that Pirates team. But the Pirates not having a good year, Nationals not having a good year, and then you come back home and you end with the who is it next? Oh, you have the Royals and then the Cubs next weekend before you head to the All-Star break. You look at this stretch right here of 4 teams between now and the All-Star break that are all under 500. This is a huge stretch of games for the Cardinals right now to put themselves to give some distance maybe from the Padres or the Mets in that wild card, sneak a little closer to the Braves. You're only 4 games back of the Braves, and try to get a little closer to the Brewers before you have that week off.
Yeah, if things went well, the offense, assuming your pitching can at least be as good as it has been. Let's make that assumption first. At least as good as it has been. For to do the things you're asking, the offense has to get better. Mm-hmm. And then in the bigger picture, as you step back, I think you've got 3 to 5 weeks for the Cardinals to make a determination how they're going to buy and sell and who they'll do it with, and try and figure that out. I think the next month to 5 weeks is going to be really exciting, especially if over the next, let's say, 3 weeks, Goldie and Arenado, or at least one of them, gets red hot, could change your whole outlook on the final 2 months of the season. So there is a lot to be determined moving forward.
Yeah, and as I said, 13 days away before the All-Star break, and then a few weeks after that, it is the trade deadline to see what the Cardinals are going to do around that time. Claves Online will be on the ground there down in Arlington, Texas, for the All-Star game too. That's those days down there, the draft, the derby, and the game itself. New rules this year for the home run derby. Not they're away from bracket play in the first round. They're not doing the brackets anymore for that. It's you hit as many home runs as you want in the first round, and then brackets in the second round, and then a finals after that. They are limiting it to either 3-minute rounds or 40 pitches. I guess the average is around 43 pitches that it's been at. So it's saying 40 pitches and you're done. Maybe save some of the kids in the outfield from taking line drives off the head. Maybe that's some of the thought behind that.
Or save the viewers from falling asleep.
Right. 3 bonus outs after that 3-minute round. And if you hit a ball 425 feet, you get a 4th bonus out after that. So a few new rules and tweaks for that. Gunnar Henderson has announced that he is going to be in the home run derby. Right now, that's the only one that is announced that. Over the weekend, Aaron Judge got himself halfway to 62 with home run number 31 on the year. It's that's one. I wonder if he puts himself in that in the derby. We're going to start getting a couple more names out here and there over the next week, I think.
It would be pretty exciting. As a fan, I'd like to see it. If a player doesn't feel comfortable doing it, though, I don't blame him.
Right. That's going to do it for our episode today of Daily Cards Live. Brought to you, as always, by our friends at Royal Banks, Munganast St. Louis Acura, and Munganast Burkhart Alton Toyota. I got a new Highlander this past weekend to drive down to Lake of the Ozarks. Rammer. It fit all of the gear that I had. It fit the wagon that I had. It fit my suitcase with all my my stuff that my son and I had, along with the cooler and the basket of snacks. So it fit everything in there comfortably too for us to make it down to the lake and back and manage and navigate all the windy roads out there at the in the Lake of the Ozarks and Osage Beach and Cam Denton and everywhere else in between. So thank you very much to the folks out at Munganast Burkhart Alton Toyota. That's going to do it for us today. He's Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. Talk to you next time.
From our roots in St. Louis, Royal Banks of Missouri is branching out to continue serving you with our locations in St. Charles, Jerseyville, Granite City, and now in Hannibal, Center, and New London. Royal Banks of Missouri, the community bank in your community.